is always lower. It's never, ever, 5 years, never.
It's like even at CrossFit Thursdays are kind of the.
It's weird how it's like that.
It's like the dead zone of the week. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if people want to save it for Friday because they want to go into the weekend feeling like they got a great workout. I don't know what's going on in their psychology, in their mind.
All right. This makes me feel bad everyone does that. So 6, we'll get rolling here in a second. So there's going to be some strength for you today. There's going to be some cardio off the bat. We're going to use kind of more warm you up and maybe kind of see how you're feeling from the week so far. But I said, still fine with that thing with the kind of intrinsic with the strength. As you notice on the board, there's actually going to be maybe 1 or 2 kind of where we might have be bigger movers. We're going to try to say that you still get maybe a bigger stimulus, but then we'll still have the other ones be more, hey, good controlled, more maybe positional movements for you as you go, kind of see how that feels. But we'll still kind of give you the option later of, hey, making this work kind of what you need for today, especially because it's near the end of the week and with that intrinsic part. What I want to do to get you moving off is that make your way to any piece of cardio. This is solely for warm-up purposes right now. This is not going to be part of the workout. We're just going to do a 3-minute kind of build-up here on the piece of cardio, kind of a little bit seeing how you're feeling and just get moving off the bat. So 3 minutes on the piece of cardio of your choice and choosing. So maybe actually rolling here. Morning, Pat. Yeah, if you need us to pull down a roller or anything, let us know. We're glad to pull down a roller for people here for the warm-up stuff. But just got to start getting the clock moving here for you. So I'll be pretty open on these 3 minutes, just kind of said literally getting yourself moving off the bat, especially from yesterday. Could have been a pretty tough workout of how you went on it. So use this right now. Just said, kind of get yourself moving a little bit. This might be the first. Let's see how we're feeling in the morning now after 3 days so far. But we won't have to get too specific off the bat in the warm-up piece here. So moving initially. 6, 8, 10, 12 on it. Yeah. And I said it's a 3 minutes we've been in. You know, the last 2 minutes, maybe there's a little bit of playing with slight increase in the speed. I'd say maybe ending at like a moderate or lightly moderate pace here, just so you have some increase in getting yourself moving. But yet again, doesn't have to get super aggressive off the bat. Want to use this as your initial moving for you. Just try to use these 2 minutes to get a little build up. Good, so 1 more minute here said, anything I said, maybe moderate, lightly moderate pace here. This is just said, just get the blood flowing, get a little bit of the heart rate up here, just initially start off the session. Yeah, it's for my kids' group.
Those are really cute.
Thanks.
I really like those, Tate.
Yeah, this is actually, I've had this one for like 3 years. I made this is my own thing when we first made the program. And then we're like, well, should we do different shirts this year? And I was like, I have different shirt I've made. So yeah, we did. The only difference is we didn't put this on it because like when you double side print, it costs a lot more.
Yeah.
So they just have this with like the fit star on the back though. But yeah, no, it's pretty happy with how it turned out. Thanks.
I want one.
Yeah, maybe next year we can do over. But yeah, thanks. No, we're pretty happy with how it turned out on them for just kind of making.
Good job, Tate.
Thank you. We got 10 seconds here. Good. And rest. You can make the way out to the floor here. by your barbell. So the barbell you could also be sharing later with up to 3 other people if you are. Great. We're going to do a little bit here, kind of work on some position movements you will see later, and then some specific and kind of body control in the warm-up. So the first one said, with today, there's going to be some bigger movements than maybe we normally see on Thursday. We kind of just want to be one kind of big, heavy stimulus, and this is going to be a barbell thruster. So with just that empty barbell, because I want to use this more as a working on the motion to warm up, I want you to think, you're going to have to clean it up. So bring it up to the shoulders. There's elbows moving up and think, gripping the ground with the feet, working on the full range of motion right now, driving through the hips in that range of motion. I'm not going to ask you to load this at any point right now in the warm-up, but I would like you to try 5 of just an empty barbell thruster. You're using this right now, so just to initially just get you moving. So you have to do a clean on the first one, and then think, getting back to the shoulders, and it's moving out in the range of motion. Can you get that full squat, or warm up a little bit into that depth, and working that nice overhead position following that. So just going through 5. The next piece we're going to have on here is going to be a little more of a core specific, and this is also going to be a little bit of test of spine mobility for you. This is going to be a vertebrae roll up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the ground, legs straight and locked out. Now what I want to try to do, let me move so Tammy, you can see me. I think, can she see me? All right. For me, what I'm going to do, laying flat on my back. My goal is I'm going to curl myself up. This is going to show some core and back strength. But the key is I want to do it vertebrae by vertebrae. So I want to try imagining literally trying to roll up. And I'll know if I'm maybe tight because I'll have a part where it comes off of one. So I'm doing tight, but right here is where I kind of go in one chunk that pulls me all the way up. And then I want to think of the same way back. Because we're going to have some spine where I'm going to intentionally try doing one vertebrae at a time all the way down. So it's going to be a lot of core activation. But also it's going to show you the back, because if it's super tight, what it might look like is this, where I'll be like, because my back isn't actually able to curl. So I want you to go through 3 of these. These are nice and slow. It's just working a little bit on the core activation and a little bit on the spine mobility on it. Said, you imagine that as you curl it up, it's like literally vertebrae by vertebrae. You want to feel it's just one at a time. And kind of your cue to let you know if maybe a little tighter straight is if you just goes whoop, as you fall down, where it's like, it's kind of straight. If you're not sure, Nick and I are glad to kind of walk around to help you, give you a visual diagnostic if you're not quite sure on how it feels. Yeah, that's one of the hardest ones because you really got to be able to get that. So we're going to do 3 of those. So nice controlled, slow motion acting. The last one we're going to have here is now still working the overhead, but to warm up a little more on it is just doing a strict press with it. So instead of adding that dynamic part, now you're just focusing on just warming up the shoulder, that good press, core tight, working at full range, just warming up the shoulders as your movement. I'd like you to do 5 of those with just a strict shoulder press. After you finish the 5 strict shoulder press, I'd like you to go through 2 more rounds of that. So you'll do 5 of thrusters. The focus is the range of motion right now. I'm not going to ask you to load it at any point right now. I just ask you to try and get that full range, pressing overhead. Following the 5 thruster, we go through 3 more set of that roll up, being nice and controlled. Trying to do vertebrae by vertebrae, and 5 strict press. So you're going to end up doing 2 more rounds on your own, or 3 in total, including the one we just did together. There we go. Stay in there. That's good, Amy. Well, maybe not a hammer. Maybe that's more going to be, I think, a more movement-based one. Of I think you're working like flexion, like kind of like cat dog.
This is like a really.
Yeah.
So this is not nice.
Fine. At least you're aware of it. That's good to have. So we're going to set 3 of those roll-ups, nice controlled. Try to think vertebrae by vertebrae. Then 5 strict press. And so you're doing that for 2 rounds on your own, or it'll be a total of 3 if you include that first one we all did together. So that strict press, you're saying, hey, core's locked in. It's really working to press a good full overhead motion. And so then you go right into that third final round, right when you finish the second one here, for that total of 3. So if we feel a little better in that range of motion, in that thruster in the bottom, with that full range on it. How you feeling, Liz?
Good.
Good. How's up? When did, I thought you were leaving for like your 2 weeks of travel and stuff.
I fly back last night. I flew this morning. I fly back tonight. I fly back tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, Liz. Good on you being here. Good on you being here. So you need another second or two here to finish up on this third round. Well, I mean, 3 in total, sorry. 2 by yourself. Third if you include that first one we all did together. Yeah, should have clarified a little better. All right, so when you finish, what we're going to do, last time going to your cardio, this is solely to use as a little test of seeing, how fatigued you may be from the week. We're going to do 5 efforts of 30 on, 30 off. My goal will be the last 2 efforts would be something that, hey, there's about enough intensity that kind of gets you a little bit out of breath at it and warm. And you can use that as a little bit of a diagnostic of, hey, wow, that was not that hard of a 30-second effort, but I felt it more than I thought I would. So just use it as a little bit of how we're feeling to give you a bit better of an approach of how you'd want to do today's strength. So it's going to be 5 efforts of 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, building to use the last 2 should be, okay, I'm warm, got a little bit of sweat, a little bit out of breath, and using that as a how do I feel for today. I'm going to get these 2 clocks rolling for you in 10 seconds. We're going to do 5. Just the last 2 is where I want you to be a little bit out of breath, kind of seeing how the intensity feels. 3, 2, so first one is light to moderate. This first one's kind of light to moderate. And last, so 30% round. I want you guys to get up to the last, we're doing 5, but the last 2 do hey, gets me out of breath a little bit, I'm warm, sweating a little bit, and you can use that as your diagnostic of, hey, how does intensity feel today? Does it need to be dialed back? Then you can get an idea of that intrinsic, what do you want for today as we go? You got 10 seconds, and this will be number 2 of 5. So just building each round. You're on 3, 2, 1, and here we go. And last, good, another 30 off. So it's still building here as we go, still building here as we go. Said, good way to warm up, but also said that diagnostic, because after this we're going to start kind of loading and prepping some of the activities. You got 10 seconds. Yeah, 3 more. You're on 3, 2, 1, and here we go, 6. Last. All right, so now we've gone to the last. So I said, hey, it doesn't have to be like crushing, but I want to at least get you out of breath here, sweating, so you can use that comparative, like, yeah, all right, I'm feeling decent here for the intensity, or wow, I'm pretty sore or fatigued from the last couple days. This is a little bit of a diagnostic for you. You're going to be back on here in 5 seconds. Number 4 or 5 here. 3, 2, and here we go, 6. So it should be 8. You're going to be a little bit out of breath after this one. There'll be a marker for you. Good rest. All right, you will have one more. Said, do you have that feeling? Out of breath, a little bit of working intensity. And then you can use that to think about how you're feeling as we start to prep on how intense you want to get out of today. This will be the last one on the 30-second effort, 6. You have 10 seconds. All right, use this as you need. Now you have 3, 2, 1, and here we go. We're halfway. And rest. Right. 96, you should be good. Feeling pretty warm up. And I also got an idea how that was feeling for you, putting in some of that intensity and effort. Good. I'd like you to make your way out to the floor to your dumbbell that we said you'd want for a dumbbell snatch. We're going to talk a little bit about some activities and form and start getting you a little bit loaded here for your strength work. So we said with today, we're going to have 2 pieces that are a little different than normal. We're going to have a bit more heavier stimulus, which is going to be a thruster. We're going to have one that's going to demand a little more kind of being dynamic and a little more technical skill with your single arm dumbbell snatch. So I want to work on the snatch piece here off the bat as we load. So I want to show the full motion first. And this is going to be a power snatch. So I'm coming from just my hips. I will not be coming from the floor. So with my dumbbell, what the full motion would look like is, I said, I'm going to use my hips to snap, pulling, right into overhead motion in one go. So it's from the bottom, snapping, up to the top in one pressing motion. So while we're working this, to kind of break it down. First one is, I want everyone to grab their dumbbell and hold in whatever hand they feel like. Left, right, preference, that's up to you. Is using your hips first. So the biggest thing is this is not a strict arm pull. So you notice if it is not going to use my arm, I'm just going to snap through my hips. Is being aggressive to pop. That's all my hips doing that. My arm is just holding on to the dumbbell. I'd like you to try like 3 aside, getting used to, hey, I'm just snapping through my hip. I'm not even using my arm. I'm just really popping through my hip to develop that force. Kind of like what we talk about on a kettlebell swing. My hips do that work. So the kind of tricky part with the snatch is in one motion, transitioning from here to here as you press. Because if I did slow motion, I'd snap, it'd pop up, and then I rotate it as it goes up. But there's momentum, so it's not strict. So then what I want you to do is when you do that snap, kind of pop. I just want to catch you just a little bit of an awkward high pull a little bit off the bat, just so you can get it up. But it should feel like it's kind of weightless. Like I'm just adding on that I snap, and it just pops up. That's not me strict pulling it. That's momentum. And then I'm bending through to help pull the weight up. So it should feel like I'm just pulling with my arm. It's kind of weightless then. That's the key. Get used to that weightless feeling as you do it. Then, from there, you're just adding on. I use the hips. I get that weightless moment as a high pull, and then you have to switch. I'm like, snap. Then I have the elbow high pull, and then I have all the momentum. Then I just follow through that as it's up. I can switch because I'm not just strict pulling with my arm that I'm just using. It's just going to rotate because it's up. I'm using my hips for that force. Why don't you try 3 now? Trying to get to that full over. When you catch, my palms still rotate in, cross tight, good overhead, stable position.
I'm just going to modify today based on tomorrow.
Yeah, let me go through the warm-up stuff and I'll come over and talk to you about it. So this is one of your activities. This is going to be, I'm going to say 5 to 10 aside. With that, you can choose. Like, hey, if I want to go more the heavier side with it today, you can shout at how you're feeling. You can go more on the heavy for 5, or you can go more for the 10 aside. That's going to be activity 1. Activity 2, the other kind of bigger stimulus, is going to be your thruster. We have it written as heavy for 5. The biggest key kind of with this week is, I just want this to be your heavy movement. Where, okay, this is what I have to really focus on. That's got to take a lot of intention in the moment to have a good position handle. If that would be for 10 reps today off of how you're feeling, I'm going to let you play with it. We're talking about intrinsic how you feel, but we're recommending like a heavy around 5. I would like you to load your thruster for what do you like to do for it. We said generally around heavy for a 5. This is the big, I have to focus, lock in form position one. So we need a moment here to just load on the thruster. So you just want this to be a heavy assist. Generally said, like around a 5 rep heavy, which would be a good challenging, not a ton of volume, but one that makes you have to really lock in on more the position and weight side for one of the movements. Your big mover. After you get that one loaded, the next one is you'll need a medicine ball. This is going to be for a Russian twist. What I want you to think is the first version, if you want to try it, using your heels on the ground, this will give you more stability as I hold to that rotation. This is going to help keep me connected to the floor. If I want to add a little more of the instability and challenge that rotation, if I have my heels elevated, as long as I can still keep the tension in my core through that rotation, I'm in a good spot. But it's going to make it a lot harder losing your connection. I'd like you just to try 3 aside of a medicine ball Russian twist. So you can easily share this with another person, especially as we go later. But you either have your heels on the ground, that'll make it a little more connected and easier. If you elevate the heels, that'll make it a little more difficult in maintaining that connection through the core. So try 3 aside. Good. We have 2 movements left here. So this first one, you will not have to practice right now. We're set up around these rooms, these bands, around posts and the dumbbell rack. This is going to be for a plank row. So I'm going to set up in a high plank position. So my top arm is in an extended position with some tension on it. My feet may have to go wider to help stabilize. Now my goal is I'm going to do a row. And same thing, I'm going to be trying to fight the rotation as I can in my core as I pull through. The farther away, the more tension. But you want to have tension on the band as you're in extension too. So that forces you to maintain. I'm still squeezing through my lat to pull it in. That one's going to be set 5 to 10 aside. If you want to make it really hard, go really far away. But it should be from full extension back in. We don't want to start with the bent arm. The final one here is going to be a dynamic plate around the world. This is the final piece. So we did it, I think last week, 2 weeks. What we did was more, the cool one was, hey, I'm in place, and I was just using the shoulders. Today's the dynamic one. So this is going to be a little more of a hip action. I'm going to snap with my hip. So it's still going to be shoulder, but I'm using my hip to help bring it around, core tight, from side to side, and it's still overhead motion. But I can move a little more weight as I use momentum. That will be 10 aside. So, as it's switching, yet again, I want you to play around if you want to make this more bang, 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 more of a slow controlled, do as you like. But you'll get 20 minutes here to go through 5 of the barbell thruster. We said just a heavy, I want this to be the heavy loaded movement. 5 of the thruster. We'll have 10 aside of that banded row. We have them set around the room. We have them on the back racks for you to use. Following that, 5 to 10 aside of the dumbbell snatch, 10 aside of the Russian twist, and 10 aside of the plate rounds. If you want to make this more of a consistent moving, big movement, longer breaks, I'll give you that option as you go through. But you get 20 minutes to work on this cycle. And then, as you know it, we're going to work on your IT bands. Because we do it every day. So, I'll get the clock rolling. The order you go in is your choice. We have the thruster, banded row, single arm dumbbell snatch. I know it's a lot. Medicine ball twist, and the plate rounds. I'll kind of announce those as we go. I know it's a lot of movements. Yep, I'll have the clock rolling here. If you want to make it more of a, hey, I'm consistently moving faster here, you can choose the intensity. If you said from the cardio you realize it needs to be a little slower, maybe it's I do an activity, I give myself 30 to 40 seconds, I go on the next one. This is a little bit, use this to find your pacing for today, especially if you know, hey, if I'm going to be in tomorrow, maybe Saturday, you do need to have those days that let you work, but recover also as you go. So we just want the thruster to be that heavy motion. Said, I'm not asking for a lot of reps on it. I want to be the one that's like, hey, you got to really lock in for the few reps you have. So the thruster is 5. Everything else will generally be 10 aside, from the banded row to the snatch to the Russian twist to that dynamic plate rounds. Everything else will generally be in that 10 aside rep range for you. Try to get that one motion for you. There we go, Wendy. Think you can find your groove on it. Yeah, tomorrow's just going to be a bunch of like 30-second effort stuff with like cardio, but also like kettlebell swing, kettlebell high pull, just a lot of 30-second max reps stuff. Who's it now? So remember on that snatch, you're coming from the hips. You don't have to go forward. Drive through the hips to snap it up, and then do that rotation in the press. Snap through the hip, that rotation right into the press. So you want to make that one continuous motion for you. So that plank roll is a new one. I want you to try starting in a position where the arm holding the band is already extended and has at least some tension on it. So you start from a straight arm, then you have to pull that elbow all the way back in towards you. So it's a plank with that one arm holding band is already extended with tension. So Teresa, I want you to, because I want this band fully extended at the front. I want this band fully extended. So let's have you right here. I'm going to move aside. Keep moving this way a little bit. And then go farther back. So keep this arm straight so it has tension. Now go on your plank so this already has tension. So go up in your plank. Now do your row. There we go. Because now you have the tension from the start. There we go. That's going to challenge you a lot more. Let it extend still. There we go. Oh, if that helps with the grip part. Yeah. But yeah, just make sure you get that tension off the bat for you. So then you might want to go to angle just so you can get that tension before you start. Yeah, there we go. Good. Let that arm extend for you, Trace. Let that arm extend on you. There we go. This is just a curiosity. Do you guys, does it feel better for you, you and Lynn, to do it with your palm open at the top of the snatch? Well, there's not like a better way. Some people teach that. I teach it with this one just so I feel more secure through the shoulder. I was just curious if it feels better for you guys when you do that one. Right. Well, I was just curious if you guys learn that way, or if it just naturally feels more to go that way. I taught you this way then for sure. That's what I was just curious. Some people do that way because it feels better. Yeah, like the only reason I show the other way is I feel it's a lot more security through the shoulder because it's a lot easier for this to fall back. So yeah, when I do it, I pop like that. Yeah, some people do it, you can kind of rotate. I just feel more secure in the press here because this is easier for it to, I feel like, to fall back. But I was just curious if that just feels better for you guys or not.
Well, yes, that's how I've done it.
Okay.
For whatever, but I'll look the other way.
Yeah, let me know if you're like, oh, it feels weird, feels better now. I'd be curious. I was just wondering on it. So I said, as you're rolling, you kind of said, get idea of like, hey, I'm making a consistent rolling. You know, I want to make a consistent 20 minutes of just good strength. If you kind of have your pacing along with it, we kind of established that how you want to roll through on this.
You guys are I usually keep it in because it's going to transfer over to a barbell. Oh, you do that one. And I guess I find that the barbell stays closer to the body. It's
Right, that's fine. Like some people will naturally that. I've always liked this one because it's more secure at the top part. Back. That's what
I think it's really. I don't know if there's a necessarily a movement standard like, hey,
Yeah.
you got to do it this way.
when I talk to people, I'm always like, hey, both are open. I show this way. I'm always like, I do it because I feel more secure. I was just curious to see what the CrossFit was. Because yeah, like I had some people that default go there. I was like,
As well as I always want to hear other thoughts on that one.
I think for me,
That makes sense, though. It normally feels like
it's just that transfers over better for like a
for a barbell. That makes sense. No, that makes sense.
But we don't do a lot of barbell snatches. I don't think in fit, so
No, we don't do them anymore.
I don't know really about the snatches every once in a while.
Yeah, I would be curious to know if CrossFit has a standard on it. I don't know. Well, let's see. Yeah, I just hate it. You're like, this is the worst thing ever. I was just curious to see. I was just seeing the difference. That's how I think, like, at CrossFit, they showed it more where they do this one, and I've done it and showed it where it's more that one. I was just curious to see how it feels for both of you. Because I know you both normally do this one. I was just curious how it feels comparatively. Any difference? You like catching it open or enclosed? Okay. Yeah, for that. It's more on that when you do the
I'm
falling.
going straight. I'm going straight.
Yeah, it's a lot more straight. This one's a lot more straight with it, as it's like a bend and then you pop it. But this one where it's more. You have, so the difference is this one's gonna be arm bend, but it's a more flip rotation, where this one's gonna be more snaps out of it because it goes like that.
Does it matter?
Not as much. You still have some.
Should you have an arm?
Yeah, you should have a little bit because
I'm
you're
intentionally going straight.
Oh no. So still thinking like thing that you're gonna pop is gonna be like that, and then it goes up. So it's a lot more straight of a motion, but you'll still have this as you come out of it. That makes sense now. Yeah. I was like, yeah, you don't want it to be straight at the top. I was confused on it. Yeah.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah. Your statement now makes sense in my head. I was like, straight. I was like, yeah, you want straight? Yeah. I didn't understand what you meant off the bat. There we go. Good pad. Yeah. Yeah, so remember, as you're going through that play round, you can be dynamic using those hips now to more throw that weight around and keeping it stretched. You can make it a little more of a dynamic movement for you as you go. Yeah, you want, yeah. Train, I still want to have that other arm extended. So at extension, you have some tension. So let's try moving back like 2 inches or so, Wendy. That way you have a little bit of tension already in that extension. Because that's going to really add now when you pull back. It's going to add a lot more. There we go. That's good. I like that. Just give you an idea, 6. You got about 10 more minutes here as you cycle through on this. You got about 10 more minutes here as we cycle, and then we'll get into the foam rolling. Well, what you did? Well, I think we were 85, like 95. Because I remember I think it was like.
I thought it was a whole class.
Oh yeah. And you got it. You got it. But yeah, dude, I remember that because I just remember you were like, there's one I was like, try it on it. We'll see what fit on it. Oh yeah. Here we go.
started doing pull-ups.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Band-aided, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just get it with
Was it bleed at all, or is it just kind of?
ripped it wide open. Like just the sad little bear skin.
That never feels good. That feels awful. Huh?
You can be the one person who can wear gloves.
Yeah, what Amy wear on one hand though, like a Michael Jackson. Mike. Oh.
From the pull-ups, yes.
I did that, what was that? When we did the Murph, was that Memorial Day?
Oh yeah, it's Memorial Day.
Totally destroyed my hand. Because we had no pull-ups for 1,000 years.
Huh. So guys, that do that consistent cycle for you as you want. I said you get 6 more minutes here as you want the strength. I said then we'll go into that IT band mobility for that final 4 minutes. That was a good moment where you went like this because she went like this on the box. You both had a nice like in sync like. Amy. Oh, that's fine. That looks like it's heavy, so we just wanted this to be like your heavy movement. I think that was a good heavy movement for you. Yeah, I mean, it's growing on me more. I used to absolutely hate thrusters. I still don't. I would say enjoy them, but I've gotten more efficient at them, so I guess I like it more.
I guess that's what I'm working for.
Yeah, I think as long as when it moves really hard, it's hard to enjoy it because you're like, this does not go well for me whenever I do workouts with these.
Things to think about. I'm like, oh my god.
I can't return it.
The Pat. Are we still missing foam rollers? I think.
What's that?
I think. Are there more foam rollers?
No, I think that's everything.
Huh.
Yeah, if there's
Huh. Fine.
some lucky winners get a lacrosse ball.
Oh my. I should probably look at maybe getting through everything maybe one more time or so here as you go. Well, one step at a time, Liz. One step at a time. Tammy. Yeah, what? Yeah. Huh? Oh, nice. How's he been feeling after the first couple weeks? So, Liz? Yeah, look at that, 75. Like it. Mark. So you still have 2 minutes left here, said. Once we get to the 20-minute mark, we'll go straight to the IT band mobility. So finish these last 2 minutes and we'll go right into that mobility for you. Are you guys heading out already, Catherine?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, all right, perfect. No problem. The final minute for you, 6, or Amy. Yep, snap it up, Patrice. Take care, Jet. We got final 10 seconds here. And rest there, 6. A 6, what I like you do before you clean up stuff is grab a foam roller. Don't worry about putting away stuff. I want everyone to grab one of these lovely foam rollers for that IT band. I like it, Wendy. We got lovely foam rollers. Let's see, Regina's looking for one. So I'm going to get this clock set up in the front here. Looking for that IT band again. 2 minutes aside. Digging in. We got all these other foam rollers looking for someone. Walk around, get you, so just get the clock rolling up front for you to use on it. Yep. So you need another one then, Wendy, right? Christoph? Yeah, you do a vibrate once. Yeah. So I'll keep the clock now rolling up front here for that foam roll. Yeah, yep, clock's rolling for you.